This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, and welcome to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, and it's a chilly one today. And I am joined by my amazing co-host, Judy Logie.
Hey, Vera, welcome everybody. I'm sorry, but I am dressed in a winter type sweater because it is chilly.
It is a cold one. I'm quite frozen. My footsies were very cold today, but it feels like winter.
Oh.
You know how like you get that spring cold and that November winter cold? Yeah. It was November winter cold today. Yeah, it went right through. It was very damp and foggy and just cold.
Better is yet to come though.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is Monday again. We are here together, and I'm always very happy. We have two great guests coming up on the show. Very interesting as always, but we're going to kick off the show with your quote.
Sure. People actually are liking our quotes. They, gives them something to think about.
Well, they're always
look forward to.
When you send me, when I hear the quote and you send me the quote, I always think, oh, cool.
Yes, advice and likewise. Okay. When you embrace your own value, truly understand and then believe that you are precious, and recognize the beauty and power of being unique, you add energy, potency, and clarity to everything you undertake. And that is by Philippa Rollins.
Incredible. So it's realizing that you're valuable. No matter who you are, what you're doing, or what you can give.
And until you realize your worth, I guess in summary, your worth, then you put everything of your energy and all that you do wholeheartedly into what things that you undertake.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes we think if we're not, doing grand big things, or an actor, an actress, or superstar, or a sports hero, that we don't have the same value or worth.
We absolutely do.
Yeah.
Every person has something to offer.
Exactly.
And I try to look for that, and I try to pull it out of people that don't feel that good sense of self-esteem.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody has a gift.
Everybody does.
Everybody has a gift to give.
Yes, so if you're watching, you do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you had a nice bit of time away.
Had a little getaway with the hubby.
Yes.
The hubby.
Yes.
Of almost, it'll be 35 years in October. This past weekend, we just decided to get away, go to some nice restaurants, walk, exercise. The weather was great. It was in Montreal, not too far away. We did some nice shopping and just took time for one another, which I think is really important in a relationship.
So critical.
It's so critical.
Well, and you're both so busy.
That's it.
Right? And so it's nice to be able to take that little bit of time to get away where nobody knows you, right? And to just be.
I expect to always know somebody, but this time we knew absolutely nobody, which was awesome. It was just he and I, and when we go out here, it's always somebody at your table coming up just to say hi and be nice, but this way it was just us one-on-one. And I will say that our little dog, Zara, not little, big girl.
Yes, she's a big girl.
She goes to a friend of ours, and she's kept there with other fur babies, limited amount. I think this lady will take maybe 6. And Zara loves it because, as you know, she lost her friend, our other dog,
her
Diva.
big sister.
Her loving Diva, who was her whole world. And when she goes to this place and there's other dogs to play with, she thinks she's in heaven.
Yeah.
So when she came back, I was very unwanted. I was very, who are you kind of thing, ignored. It was like I abandoned her. They're like children. And then last night, she was very, very sad because, as we're going to talk about, you and I were at an event. She stayed home with Gerard, and he said, my goodness, was she ever mopey? He said she was just almost depressed. And without looking into anything psychological about dogs, I don't think I have to. I do believe, Veronique, that they get depressed.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. And it's funny because I see the same thing with Jude. So Jude is my little long-haired Chihuahua, cutest thing ever. He's four whopping pounds.
So sweet.
4 whopping pounds. Yeah, he's huge. Anyway, never thought I'd own a Chihuahua or that dog, that tiny of a dog. Yeah. But he, so when I've been going, so I've only had him since February. He's only 5 months old now. But the couple of times that I've been away since I got him, he goes to stay at my friend Heather's, so Heather Stymus and Charlie Stymus, and they have his brother, his actual litter mate brother. Yeah, Carl. So Jude and Carl. Yeah, Jude and Carl. But they also have 4 other dogs and 4 cats or 6 cats. Like they have a whole,
They love animals.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're so wonderful. So Jude comes home depressed.
They do. They mope and she wouldn't eat a whole lot. And actually last night we kept her closer to us, which we normally do because I don't believe in bringing them into the bed or, having them in the room all the time. But we thought she was very sad. Aww. She cried in her sleep. Aww. She absolutely, it broke my heart, whimpered and cried and was like a baby, like, ooh, sobbing out loud. Yeah. So that was interesting.
Oh, it's, you know what, and they're little personalities, because Winston, when I go away, stays with Dad and Jenny, our big dog. And she exhausts them because they chase each other around. But he gets exceptionally clingy when I get back.
I would like that.
He gets exceptionally clingy. Like he has to be laying on top of me in my face.
Like your back, Mummy.
Yeah, like, Mummy, you're not leaving again.
So cute.
Oh, they're little personalities.
I know. So that was a fun weekend. I'm back. I mean, I don't sleep as good when I'm in a hotel. For some reason, you should, but I don't. It's just not your own bed. No. So, but it was fun. Yeah.
But you had a good time, though.
Yes, and I shopped.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I find one of the things that I learned when I first moved home I think it was 16 or 17 years ago now, we were out for supper, you and I and Gerard and the family and whatever, and somebody came up to Gerard, and I laugh because it happens to me, not in the same way, but it happens to me, but somebody came up to Gerard, and we were all having a family supper at the Rod, and they said, hi, Dr. Logie, so great to see you. And, Gerard, of course, says, hi, how are you? And they said, I just have this little, this leaking in my ear. Can you just check it out? It'll just take you a second. Yeah. And I'm like, sure. We're at supper.
I know.
And I get it because he's so busy and people want his time.
But
still. But it's so funny to see, but I can understand wanting to go away just to get a little bit of away from that.
It can be painful.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but so my little guy yesterday went on his first big boy walk.
The big 4-pounder.
Yeah, the big 4-pounder went on his first big boy walk outside. Because I got him in February, so he has not been outside trained. Right. We're working on that.
Yep.
We're not good at it yet. But I put a little harness on him, put the leash on him, and trotted him up the street.
He owned the neighborhood.
He was like, what is this?
This is too cute.
I don't know what grass is. I don't know what concrete is. I don't know what, steps going outside are.
First.
Oh, he was just beside himself. And then we took him out in the yard yesterday because we have a great yard for the dogs. And he was like on grass for the first time.
But they explore. It's just a new world. It's just like a baby outside.
And they were so exhausted last night. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Got some sleep?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, not much.
No.
Not much.
No.
But you and I were out last night.
We did. We took in Miramichi Valley High's production of Cinderella.
Oh.
And it's something that I look back on. The production was wonderful, by the way.
Yes.
But as a little girl, it was one of my favorites.
Yes.
Because as that little child, you're thinking about growing up and dressing up in a ball gown and meeting that prince, whether we do or we don't. And that's our little fantasy as a child,
Yeah.
And I thought it was very funny. The stepsisters were just hilarious.
They were my favorite.
They were hysterically funny.
They were my favorite.
So anyone that missed it, they just did a bang-up job.
Yeah.
Thanks to Chris Matheson, who took this on again.
Yes.
Another production of the high school drama. My nephew Trent Power was Prince Charming.
He did a wonderful job.
He did, because the boys never sang before.
You know what? And I was so shocked, right? So I was so proud of him. Proud of him last night. But for him to get up there in front of a full theater and not be a singer.
5th performance too.
Exactly. Exactly. Not be a singer, but own it.
Exactly.
Own it with everything he had, and to be singing with Kate Berry, who is a wonderful singer.
Beautiful. And yet she's not had the opportunity to sing much other. She's a naturally gifted girl.
Yes. And she was a beautiful Cinderella.
She's so beautiful. And they were so cute together.
They were.
And
they were.
I had a lot of favorites in that show, and I can't. They were all so good. But I love the fairy godmother.
The stepmother too, the fairy godmother.
Great.
They were all wonderful. The mice.
The costumes. Thank you, Nancy Carter, again. She needs to be commended. That girl.
Nancy is so gifted,
and she's so willing, and she doesn't have a complaint. She just does her job. She smiles. She's so proud of her work, but she's so humble.
Well, funny enough, I just met Nancy for the first time 2 weeks ago.
I grew up with Nancy.
She's lovely.
Grew up with her since the time I was a child.
Incredibly talented.
She is, and I love her personality.
Yeah, incredibly talented. And I always knew that she did all of the costumes for the productions in the area. And amazing, but just a lovely person.
Big undertaking. So great job, Miramichi Valley cast of Cinderella.
I know. Yeah, we really enjoyed that. And Mom was out with us as well, which was really nice. And Andrea, my aunt, is home from Alberta.
I love when she comes home.
I do too. I do too.
Girl time.
I know. And I was so happy. She arrived home Friday night. So she flew into Halifax and then took the train up. She's discovered taking the train.
That's nice. I used to like the train.
It's a nice little nice little trip. And so she arrived Friday night, and we're very close in age, just as you and I are. And
well, that's debatable.
We are.
That's a lie.
We are. And I always feel like, she's like my sister.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
And that's it's a different relationship that I have with Andrea, because she always stays with us, and then when her husband comes usually in the summer to visit as well, and then her daughter is in school in Halifax.
So sweet. But what I like about it, and including my own sisters, Jennifer and Colleen, Jen's still home from Barcelona, and she'll be home until I think May 2nd.
Nice.
I find when you and I and, like you said, Andrea and Jennifer and Colleen get together, we're all like sisters, and we all like to do the same things.
Yes.
We're game.
Yes.
There's those friends that just want to have a coffee and complain or unload, and then there's the ones that want to do.
No, and we laugh.
The doers.
We laugh.
Go to shows.
Go
tell
shopping,
stories. Have good food.
Yeah.
We love
always,
it.
Always, yeah. And I always find that with Andrea too, and she's such a great help. Since Mom's disease is progressing, and I've talked very briefly about the fact that Mom has Alzheimer's now. Andrea is such a wonderful support to me when she comes home. She comes home about every 2 months now and spends about 5 weeks with me.
Absolutely
which
helpful.
Just gives a little bit of a buffer, because then Mom can talk to her. Mom's not always just stuck with me, right? Yeah. And we have a wonderful caregiver, Logie McClanahan, that comes in as well. But Andrea Andrea is always positive, and she's always
gentle.
And she's like, okay, come on, Jacqueline, let's go.
That is also true, because it's like her mother in some respect, as your mom being the oldest girl, Andrea being the youngest girl. It's like a mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And Andrea, when Grandma was sick years ago, when her Alzheimer's was developing, Andrea was teaching, and she had very small children, and she was living in Alberta, and she couldn't come home as often as she wanted to. And so it's a real opportunity now for her to kind of, spend time with the family,
quality time,
but also to support Mom
and you
and me. And listen, I can't say enough great things about her, because she's so kind.
Getting emotional.
I know, me too. But anyway, but she's home, which is nice. So she's home for the next few weeks, and
nice.
we'll have some good times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the 26th, Matt Anderson is doing a fundraising show for ASDN North, which the school district, Anglophone School District North, and for the music program. So in the area, which is amazing, Terry Whalen does these writers' workshops with students, and then the songs play on the radio. Yeah, like they record them.
Okay, I heard wind of that, but nothing.
Yeah, they write them, record them, and then they play them on the radio.
Very awesome.
I know, it's very exciting.
Good
so anyway,
stuff.
So they are good friends. Matt Anderson and Terry, of course, are great friends from the music industry. And Matt decided to do this fundraising show at James M. Hill. It is now sold out.
May 26th.
No, 26th, like in 2 days.
Oh, okay. I didn't get tickets.
Yeah, it's now sold out, but amazing initiative on their parts.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I know, eh? Yeah. So, talking about Cinderella, love at first sight. Do you believe in it?
No.
No?
I believe in attraction at first sight. I believe in a strong chemistry. You see someone, they see you, it's like something connects. It's attraction. But how could you love somebody at first sight?
Yeah.
I don't believe in that at all, but we've often heard and talked about it. I believe in getting to know somebody quickly and getting to know a little bit more about their person, and then saying, well, these characteristics are ones that I could really fall for, and as I develop, then you become in love. But love at first sight? No, I think that's merely lust or just some kind of a strong reaction to that person.
That's a good word. Lust at first sight.
What about you?
I think definitely you can be attracted to somebody at first sight. But I think for me, the more I get to know somebody, the funnier they are, the kinder they are, the more I would fall in love.
But now Tina Turner would disagree and say, what's love got to do with it?
That's true.
But the happily ever after, do you believe that there is just one person for everybody?
No.
Because you hear that, they say there's one person.
The soulmate?
Yeah, your soulmate.
Or
there's one
twin flame
person out there. Come on. How many people in the world and you have one person? I mean, I'm happy.
Yes.
I found the person that makes me happy and I hopefully make him happy. We've been together forever.
Yes.
But I'm saying that I have had different boyfriends when I was younger. Yeah. They all brought something to the table, whether it was their outstanding personality, their talents, their charm, whatever, athleticism.
Yeah.
And you know, you can fall for that person because you click.
Yeah.
So I do not feel like I'm very much content and I have no eyes for other people.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is if I was single right now today, I'm sure there would be a multitude of people out there that I would find appealing and that I would connect with.
Yes. Yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think that there is I don't think that there is like one soulmate. I think you can be with one person for the rest of your life.
And
Absolutely.
That's what I've chosen to do too, is be with the person.
But I think that if something were to happen to your partner, I think you can find happiness and love with someone else after that person.
And people break up and they think that's the end of the world, that they'll never meet anybody else. The next thing you know, they're happy, they have children or not children, and they're traveling the world together, having a great time.
Yeah, I think it's possible to love, to find love again. I do. I do think it's possible to find love again. Now I'm single, so what do I know?
Tomorrow it's going to happen.
All right.
Right across the street,
good.
someone's going to stare you down and say, that's my woman.
Right across the street, eh?
Do we have time to go over any trends, Veronique?
We have 2 minutes left, so yes.
So I just want to talk to some fashion trends that are happening that I noticed, and I'll go through them really briefly. Neon colors are huge. The hot pinks, the lime. Well, this is like a yellow, but I'm talking neon, lime and orange and fuchsia and that thing. Chunky sneakers for women are big, 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 and they're thick soled, and if you're a size 6, they make your foot look like a size 8, and that's the look.
Okay.
The big sneaker, chunky sneaker.
Interesting.
Backpacks are huge still for women.
Well, and funny enough, I have a backpack on today.
And the other one thing I almost broke down and bought, but I didn't, are the silk suits for women, like a kimono.
Yes.
You can either tuck in the shirt and the baggy pants, and they're patterned, or the jacket has a belt. It looks like a sash or a robe, and I can't yet bring myself to buying one because it looks like PJs.
Yes, me too. No, I'm with you. Okay, so listen, don't go too far. We have 2 great guests coming up right after the break, one after each break, as you know. Grab something warm, it's cold, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Being stuck in your home during this pandemic also means you have a home. Waiting in line for groceries means you have money for groceries. The isolation, being broke and totally scared about what's next. I was feeling that before this crisis. People say we're in this together, but me, I've got no one.
Youth who have aged out of the child welfare system are in danger of falling further through the cracks because of today's crisis. They need your support. Please give today at helpyouthnow.ca.
Do you have something to share? Let everyone know about your next meeting, your need for volunteers, or your fundraising event on the Rogers TV Community Billboard. Send us your words and we'll bring them to life on Rogers TV and rogerstv.com. When it's time to spread the word, go to rogerstv.com to add your announcement to the Community Billboard.
We were born in Canada. We spoke English. On the streets, we weren't welcome. But on the field, we were the Asahi. Vancouver's champions. Everyone cheered for us. Our people had a voice. Then Canada declared war on Japan. They took us from our homes, called us enemies, forced us into camps. but we brought the game with us. Baseball helped get us through the internment.
The Vancouver Asahi were among the 22,000 Japanese Canadians interned during the Second World War. The team never played another game.
Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, and I just caught a glimpse of myself in the monitor. I look like I've been run over by a truck, but that is how it rolls here today. Anyway, welcome back to the show. I am joined, of course, by my co-host, Judy Logie, and we neglected to mention one very exciting thing in the last segment. Your new great nephew.
Yes, I have a brand new, beautiful 9-pound, 21-inch great nephew, my first on my side of the family, Lauren, and a rather half breed, and have a beautiful new boy, Brooks, they called him. And
Brooks Ivan.
Brooks Ivan, the namesake after my dad, who is in his 80s now. And so it's a beautiful thing that they've done, and he's healthy. She got through it. And I'm so proud to be a great aunt for the first time.
I know, incredible.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, congratulations. And congratulations to Bruce and Rhonda as first-time grandparents.
My brother and his wife, so proud.
Exciting. Yeah. So now in this segment, we're joined, of course, by one of our guests, which is always great. But we have Taylor Shays-Green joining us today from the Motor League. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me here.
We're so excited, and there is so much going on in your world these days. So before we get into that, though, tell the audience a little bit about you.
Sure. So I was born and raised here in Miramichi, and I live here today. My whole family's from Miramichi, and my wife is Jamie, and she's a nurse here in Miramichi as well. Yes. And we have our son Legend, who turns 2 in next week, actually. Yeah.
He's so cute.
That's such a cool name.
Yeah.
I only know one.
Yeah.
So he is a legend.
That's right. That's what we were going for. We knew we wanted to go with L, and we just that was the one we settled on. So.
That's perfect. And I've watched you grow up. Actually, you're a young man. You're a grown up now. But so interesting that you have a wife now, a little baby. You're busier than busy.
I am.
And I've known you play music all of your life. But tell us about Motor League. Now, when was that formed? And tell us more about it.
Sure. So the Motor League was actually formed. It was a rock band that was formed in, I believe it was 2006. It was long before I joined. Mm-hmm. I was in high school at that time. But it formed in 2006, and I joined, it was probably about 6 years ago now. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
pre-COVID.
It was pre-COVID. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And you know, it's been a blast. It's been a challenge. It's been everything, but it's been my life for the last, like I said, 6 years or so now.
Before that, though, I mean, you've grown up like you're just a musician from a child, really, right?
Yeah. I started when I was I started plucking away at a guitar when I was about 13, and I never took formal lessons till much later in life, but. So I've been playing in bands and doing different musical projects for ever since then, pretty much.
That's a gift. I love it. I admire it.
I know. I wish I could play any instrument.
I can't play anything.
I can play the tin flute, the recorder. That's it.
I can't even play the spoons, Taylor. That's pretty sad.
Well, if you ever want lessons, I'm more than happy.
Oh, sure.
Once things settle down.
Show, eh? Yeah. Lessons by Taylor.
Oh, it would be terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Now you play bass though for the Motor League.
Yes.
And so did you when you were young, did you know that you always wanted to be a musician? Like, was that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna play in a rock band, or like, where did that come from?
When I was young and I was growing up, I knew there was 2 things that I wanted to do, and one was play in a rock band, and the other one was be a professional wrestler.
Okay.
And now I'm doing them both.
Are you?
Really? Okay.
So.
Well, we should ask questions about that. But we'll get back to that one.
Yeah, we definitely should.
Yeah, that's what my weekend was this weekend, was wrestling.
Well, we can jump right into it.
Yes,
we can go into that.
That's true. They were here, and I missed that. Yeah.
I spent the last 2 days last night. Friday and Saturday. On Saturday was here in Miramichi. They do them at Carrefour. It's for a group called IHW.
Okay.
And me and my little brother, we're a tag team. So,
cool.
Really?
Yep.
So when did you get into this?
Yeah.
Well, this is another thing that for me, wrestling and music is always hand in hand. I love them both since I was a kid.
I am I'm stunned, but this is a great stun. So keep going.
Maybe I should have dug into this a bit more before, but yeah, I was always into it, and I was really into it. I kind of got out of it and got back into it. Got trained in pro wrestling, and that was almost 10 years ago now. And then Motor League happened, and music happened. Wrestling went to the side, and now I was bored, so now I'm doing everything. I was bored having a 2-year-old, so I decided to do wrestling and music too.
Oh my gosh.
I can't get over that. It's a rough sport too.
Yeah, actually,
it terrifies me.
Oh, you should see me right now.
Well,
I have a handprint this big on my
bruises?
chest.
Really?
Oh yeah, my shoulder's purple from here to here right now.
Really?
I don't want to mess with the mic and everything, but here, let's see if I can give you a little peek.
Taylor. Oh man.
Ouch.
Just for anyone who says it's real fake and stuff, there you go.
But so did you just one day you found them on Facebook and said, I want to wrestle with you?
There was a guy in Moncton who was really experienced and who's done it across the world for many years. His name's Peter Smith, and he was doing a class. I was 22 at the time, I think, and I decided to go do it. It was one of the hardest things I ever did,
sure.
and I was off to the races. But like I said, music happened, and now I'm kind of back into. I'm just doing it locally, just having fun with my brother and
fun. Getting bruised up to death. I call that not fun. But you love it.
Well, and it's funny because I was a huge old school WWE.
For you?
Was it E?
Yeah.
It was WWF first, and they had to change it because
it's E now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So huge fan.
I didn't know that.
I loved it. I loved it. I used to watch it all the time. Yeah, and then it got like the Undertaker and everything, and then it got a little weird for me.
Hulk Hogan, Derek?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the stuff we like too.
Because that's how old I am.
Well, I'm older than that again.
That's awesome. No, I really like that.
So tell us what's such a combination and such a vast array of talent that you have and hobbies. I want, first of all, a two-part question to talk to us about some of the bands and musicians that you've always looked up to and maybe aspired to be when you were a young man, and also some of the pro wrestlers that you've looked up to and really kind of said, that's who I want to be.
Yeah, sure. So, growing up, when I was very young, I just becoming a teenager and whatnot, I got into Nirvana. That was a big band for me growing up. And I was into them, but then I was big into metal. I was a big metalhead. I still am. Maybe I don't even have to. I mean, you can kind of tell by the look of me.
Not all really done, no? Not really.
Well, he's got the Megadeth shirt on.
Yeah.
I know,
Actually,
but I know
this is Megadeth.
Oh my God, so cute!
God, I'm old. Who? Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. But so my favorite band in the world, and probably always will be, is Metallica.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Metallica, and I love Megadeth. I love Slayer. Those are my
Guns N'
favorites.
Roses.
I love Guns N' Roses too.
AC/DC?
Yep. Oh yeah, I love Guns N' Roses. I love AC/DC.
I love
I
those
got tickets to
two.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
Did you?
did you?
Because it's
Coming
high
up,
school
you
for
mean?
me. Yeah.
Coming up, I love
Oh, yeah.
Rain. That's my number one song.
Yeah,
I
I'd love to see Guns N'
absolutely-
Roses. I
Yeah.
didn't get tickets to
Oh,
it.
no?
I just
Yeah.
got so much going on,
You
so
do.
something had to give. But
Yeah.
I am seeing, me and my wife are going to go see Metallica though in Montreal this
really?
August. So
Oh,
that's a
that's
big
exciting trip coming
I've
up.
never seen them. They're my favorite band ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Is your
so I'm
wife a
excited.
fan of rock, like the heavy metal?
I've got her into it a little bit. She's not as hardcore as I am. We listen to each other's music. I show her Metallica, I show her the stuff I'm in, and she shows me Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez and stuff. And I like it too.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Well, they are talented. Selena
Yeah.
Gomez has some
It's
good
good.
stuff
yeah.
out. And your little boy's gonna be a wrestler and a musician, no
I know,
question.
Can you imagine? There's one. I'm not a heavy metal. I'm sure you're shocked. But there's one Slipknot song
Okay.
that I really like.
Yeah.
Well, I used to date this guy that was like hardcore. Okay. Anyway, bad mistake, but there is one. I think it's probably their only ballad that they
Okay,
sing.
yeah.
And there's one
Yep. Yep.
Slipknot song that I will listen to.
I love Slipknot too.
Yeah.
I do.
They're really like heavy though.
They're pretty heavy. They're pretty heavy. But I like some pretty heavy stuff. But really, the stuff I really love is the
Well, you
the
just
Metallica,
talked
the
about
stuff.
that.
Yeah, that's really
You're not
my
alone
bread and
there. I'm
butter.
sure there's some millions of them.
So now we know about your musical taste, but what about which wrestlers did you want to be when you were?
That's a tough one. That's even harder. But like growing up, I loved Bret Hart.
Oh yeah.
Bret Hart. I liked all the Canadian guys for some reason.
Well,
I liked
that's
Bret
good.
Hart, Chris Jericho, Edge.
Yeah.
Those guys.
All
Those are
Canadians?
my favorites.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat.
I'd say so.
Gosh, funny. Now you have a really exciting show coming up though with the Motor League tomorrow night. So it's when this airs, we're obviously airing right now, but as it airs throughout the province, some people will miss it. But at Casino New Brunswick tomorrow night.
Yeah. Casino New Brunswick tomorrow night. We're opening for Theory of a Dead Man.
I know.
Oh, you guys are gonna rock with them.
I know. It's
I can't
so
wait.
exciting.
I'm
That
so excited.
is so good. I love them.
Yeah, me too. That's another. I love the metal and stuff, but a whole other genre,
No, I
the
do
rock
love
and the
that.
Canadian rock stuff. I love that
What
too.
an honor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Have you
It's gonna be great.
opened for others before? Or is this something, you're still so young to me that I'm thinking you've got so much under your belt. I watched him, like I said, grow up from a 13-year-old to this man with a child. He's a wrestler and a musician now. So he's just
too much, Judy. It's
blown
too
up
much.
before my eyes. But yes, so a little bit of your journey along the way as far as getting your openings, your gigs.
Yeah. We've been lucky enough to open for some bigger bands.
Very nice.
Never played with Theory of a Dead Man before. Can't wait for that. This is in support of their new album. It's called Dinosaur, and they're coming out here. I think they're just doing Moncton. I'm not sure if they're hitting up anywhere else, but yeah. So it's in support of their new album Dinosaur, and I've been spinning that album ever since I heard about this, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. They're nice heavy rock. I think it's going to be a really good pairing with us. I should mention too. The Motor League is not that heavy metal style either. It does fit in with Theory of a Dead Man. It's
More of that.
yeah, it's
level.
a rock. We had a single a few years ago that did pretty well on the radio, like rock radio. So it fits in with the rocky here on the radio.
Now, are you strictly bass guitar?
I do bass guitar and I do the backup vocals, so the harmonies
Me
and
too.
things like that in the band as well. Yeah.
Who's your lead singer? Would I know that person?
His name's Don Lavandier.
No.
They're all based out of Moncton. I'm the only Miramichier in the band.
Do you travel a lot, or they come to you?
I go to them. Yeah. So
you're on the road
I
a
travel
lot.
quite a bit. Yeah. Go back and forth to Moncton if I got to practice or what have you. But
That's a lot. But I mean, it's only an hour and a half.
True enough, but you must practice together quite often.
When shows like this are coming up, we do. There's an off season though. In the winter, I didn't travel too much. Something will come up every now and again, and we'll get together and stuff. But now we're like the future of Motor League now is we're trying to get some new stuff rolling and get that out there. So hopefully that's. I feel like I feel like a broken record. I've been saying that since COVID now.
Oh yeah.
So, we weren't immune to COVID either. That was a step back for us too.
For
but,
sure.
Yeah, but things are rolling. I think with the Miramichi shows and things coming up, we're gonna try to spice in some new stuff for the fans.
And you have a show coming up in Miramichi. Tell us about that one. It's at New Maritime.
Yep. May 20th at New Maritime.
Ooh.
We're playing, and local Miramichi band Six Gun Smoke is opening the show for
Cool
us.
I
name.
don't think I know that.
Yeah.
May 20th.
You might know some of them. Jack Bowie is the singer.
Okay, yeah.
Jack Bowie and Andre Pino and Sean McClafferty. It's the three of them.
Okay.
It's kind of like a rock, punk, western rock sort of.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're all Miramichiers. Yeah.
Are you into the writing part of music?
I write a lot of music myself. In the Motor League, we all contribute to it.
Right.
I wouldn't call myself the main songwriter or anything.
No, but you
we
do
all-
play with the lyrics, and you do try to get them set to the right.
Yeah,
spectrum.
usually what it is, Don is that he's what I would call the main songwriter. He plays guitar and sings, and he'll come with something, and we'll all kind of
Jam
play
around
through it,
and,
and
get
yeah,
Gosh,
pick
to
it
me,
apart.
that's almost the most fascinating thing is I think to myself a lot of the time I hear something on the radio, no matter what genre, and I think, oh my gosh, that's my new song. I love it so much. And I think, how do these people get something so good out there? Do they play with it for a month, a days, a year until it sounds that good?
Well, we had one song that was called "Everyone Is Digital," and it did really well for us in rock radio across the country. And and for us to come up with that song, we went to Toronto and got in with a producer. His name is Eric Ratz. He's produced every rock band in Canada you could probably think of.
Wow.
And we brought these songs to him, and he picked them apart, and he, took a song and did surgery on it. You know what I mean?
I do.
And that's how it came out on the other end.
Refines it all.
Yeah, he refines it all. He tells you don't need this. You should have this in this place and this in that place. And I'm glad we did it because it worked out.
So would you call him a recording producer? Is that
Yeah,
what
you
he's
call
called?
him a producer.
Okay.
Yep.
Just like Jason Berry was
Jason
on
Berry.
the show.
Right
yeah.
on. Wow, my gosh, there's a lot happening with you, and then being a dad and a husband too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And then he works.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he doesn't pay the bills. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? You gotta find the thing that
But
does.
you love in life, Taylor, you can tell.
Oh yeah, I'm running myself pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take a breather, I think, this summer. But
Maybe drop the wrestling for a little bit.
yeah, we'll see. Well, yeah, we'll see. I
Doesn't
don't
matter.
know what I'm gonna do.
No, and it's funny. It's because we're all pretty busy, but just like Judy got away on the weekend for a few days, and that was the one thing I decided this year is that every month I would go away overnight, at least one overnight, just to break the the head and kind of give it a rest.
Yeah.
And
Good
kind
idea.
of ease, because that's the thing when you're on that treadmill every day, right? Of that constant hamster wheel of everything you got going on.
It's overwhelming.
At some point, you just gotta stop.
It's just mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
Like,
It
it's
is.
stressful on your head. I could run around all day, but it's just keeping. I got to do this. I got to do this, and then I'm doing this tomorrow. I'm doing this the next day.
Yeah.
It's just
And then
nonstop right
where's
now.
the time for Taylor?
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
my just downtime for me to have some space in my head?
Well, and it must be so much fun too watching Legend grow, like and getting to experience all the things that he's experiencing for the first time in his life.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's great. He's obsessed with hockey right now.
Oh,
I don't know how that happened. We don't really watch too much of it. Not really. His
Too cute.
both of his grandfathers do on both sides, but he's obsessed. He wakes up, he wants to watch hockey. He has 6 hockey sticks now. He plays it, and he goes, he shoots, he scores.
Oh.
You've got to get him into hockey.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
even
Yeah,
if
we're
your
gonna get him
wife
into
and you and
skating.
your the grandparents can help alternate those schedules.
Oh, yeah.
If he's got a passion at that age, then there might be some big, Sidney
absolutely.
Crosby potential.
Yeah,
there.
Yes,
exactly.
regardless of everything I'm doing, he will always be number one priority.
That's so nice. That's so true.
So we only have a couple minutes left.
Wow.
So in the last couple minutes, if you could play with anybody, like who would it be?
If I could play with anybody, well, I'd have to go with Metallica probably. They just influence all my playing and all my music and everything. And whether it would be just to step in on a song with them or to open for them, that would be the dream. But that's shooting for the stars there. But I'd love to.
You never know, Taylor. You never know. Keep directing yourself in that lane.
So in the last 30 seconds, when are you at New Maritime again?
May 20th. We're at New Maritime. You can go to New Maritime and get tickets. It's also on Eventbrite. Or you could go on Facebook. There's an event page, the Motor League at the New Maritime, and you can get the tickets there as well. I just want people to be ready. It's going to be a real rock show. It's going to be loud in there. There's going to be a lot of energy, and there's going to be a lot. We run around. We're not stationary. It's going to be a real rock show.
Out, Miramichi.
All right. Well, don't go too far. We have another great guest coming right up. So go grab a snack, and we'll see you right after the break.
They were just kids from New Brunswick. Never even left the North Shore before. Dad trained them the best he could. But how could they possibly be prepared? This was the biggest operation the world had ever seen. He'd already served in the First World War, earned the right to stay home, raise his children. But how could he send those boys into battle and not be by their side? Many were killed that day. One was my father.
Major Archie McNaughton was 47 when he died on D-Day, the invasion that marked the beginning of the end of the Second World War.
I'm Willie O'Ree, pro and play with the Boston Bruins.
It's Mike Miller from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
We're the Mount Allison Mounties.
I'm Gerard Gallant, head coach of the New York Rangers.
Carolyn Cameron from Sportsnet.
This is Jake Allen.
This is Jacob Peltier from the Calgary Flames.
I'm Genevieve Lalonde.
This is Drake Batterson from the Ottawa Senators.
I'm Arash Madani from Sportsnet. You are watching Across the Line, the #1 sports talk show in all of New Brunswick.
Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I am your host today, Veronique Arsenault, joined, of course, by my amazing co-host, Judy Logie.
I wouldn't want you to miss me. That's why I wore yellow, in case you couldn't find me on set.
I know, I know, and I'm always in black, so it works out well.
Yeah, I know. Like the sunshine today.
Anyway, we just had a great guest and a great chat with Taylor Chase-Green about the Motor League, and we are joined by another wonderful guest. Yes. We are so thankful to have you, Michael. So Michael Logie, who is the treasurer for the Kinsmen Club of the Miramichi.
Yep.
We are pleased to have you here, so welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
Very glad.
Love that hat. It says, if you can't see it right away, I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
I know.
That should be our new motto, Vero.
Yes.
Well, actually, that's kind of. I have a gift for you guys for having me on. I got these hats.
Gosh,
so there's a little bit more story behind Just Breathe. It's actually a slogan that was used in the partnership between Kin Canada and Cystic Fibrosis, which dates back to '64.
Yes.
We've donated millions to their research for CF, Cure for CF.
Yeah.
So on the back, they actually have.
Oh, I love it.
It says, "Join us together in the fight." Kin Canada
I treasure
logo.
this.
Oh
I treasure it.
So that was for having me on. Thank you very much.
That's
I know you liked the slogan when I came on.
We
so.
certainly do. And with my hair most days, I
wonderful.
could be wearing it. So thank you. Thank you.
Today.
Thank you.
Today is that day.
No.
But Michael, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I work. I'm born and raised here in Miramichi. My wife Sarah, she's from PEI. We've been married for 15 years. We have 2 little girls, Megan and Robin. Megan turns 13 this summer, and Robin turns 13 this year. Megan turns 9. They should be watching at home right now.
Yes.
Oh yes. So I'm with IT in the school district. I've been for the last 18 years. So a lot of viewers, I'm sure, have seen me around the schools because I mainly look after Miramichi Valley, but I've been all over the place. So.
Yeah, of course.
That's huge, though. We were just saying off the air what a job that is for someone like me, especially who's not into the technology world. It's overwhelming, and it's all that, it's everything now.
Well, and I imagine, I don't know how all of you did it, teachers out there during the pandemic. I don't, those of you who worked with children during the pandemic, I don't know how you did it.
I know.
But you particularly, because everybody went home and then they went online and they were expecting everything to be, perfect.
It was, yeah.
Right? So, how did you manage that piece?
Well, we just provided the support for it, but they kind of just threw the tools at them and said, "Oh, hey, guess what? We have Microsoft Teams, and now we want all the kids to have it." And so the teachers had there's a lot of challenges, right?
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and of course, being a rural school district, we have a lot of connectivity problems,
of
right?
Course you would, yeah.
So they had.
Because it's not just Miramichi, right?
No,
Anglophone North is you go quite far up.
Tie Head to all the way down to Tabbas and Tack, all the way down to Rexton.
People don't realize what the circumference is. That's right.
Yeah, we're probably one of the largest geographic districts.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I thought.
When it's so spread, it's not heavily populated, right? So,
right. Yeah.
But there is a lot of extra challenges that were brought on by all those things.
I'm sure.
But we have some really good staff. So.
So that's that, and then we're so proud of you being a kinsman. Yes. I've always admired the roles you play, the work you've done, the organization in itself has just done wonders for people all over the world for years. So tell us about the history of the kinsman, and particularly the kinsman of Miramichi.
Sure. So I'll start with Kin Canada, because at one time it was Kinsmen, then there was Kinsmen, there was Kinettes, and then they became Kin, so it's just Kin Canada now. It was formed in 1920 by Hal Rogers.
Oh, wow.
I'll have a funny little rotary dig. It started because he wasn't allowed into the rotary. Because they weren't back then. He was into the plumbing business, and his father was into the plumbing business, and they would only allow one person from the designation in.
Yes.
So He had gone away to World War I, and he missed the camaraderie of being in a group of around like-minded young gentlemen.
Yeah.
And so when he came back, and he did try to join, and they said, no, you can't,
Well,
because
that's
we already have that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Paul
it's kind
Harris
of
that put him out. Jay.
So he ended up forming his own club. He said, the heck with you, let's do my own.
Love it.
And that's where it started.
Okay.
And I won't actually take any digs at any other volunteer organizations, because we all do amazing work, and
Yes.
there's never enough volunteers.
No,
making
but I like
plays.
that story. That's good history.
That's kind of how that one started.
Yeah, I like it.
Now, and of course, it's progressed over the years to, like I said, started out as kinsmen, and then the Kinettes were usually the wives that all got together when the men were doing their thing. And of course, now it's just kin. I don't think there's been a new kinsman or Kinette club formed in the country in years. It's all been just kin clubs, so they're co-ed.
And
sorry, Vero. No, actually, question, because I didn't know that. It is co-ed now?
The new clubs that are coming in. So the existing ones, like there's kinsmen, they're usually just men, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess mine, before I interrupted Veronique, was to say I didn't know that the wives were the Kinettes. I thought there were just other women that joined the kinsman group, like as other
It could have been
females, and
started out as mainly the wives getting together with, because they usually helped out. I mean, you
that makes sense.
Volunteer. You guys usually have your spouses with you doing those functions, right? So I mean, most organizations have all gone that way now.
Yeah, interesting.
So our club is still men's only. That's just the way it has been.
Yep.
So we started in 1952. And Rupert Kethra was a big proponent of our forming of our club. Some of the bigger things that we've kind of started, I mean, so our motto for Kin Canada's motto is serving the community's greatest need. Okay. So that's kind of, throughout the years, so in the 60s, they had a renovation of the 80s. They did a renovation of the Kinsman Pool. We donated. It was like a multi-year project where they gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to that was the only thing that they focused on.
Yeah.
In the late 70s, was it the 60s? Maybe it was the late, I have to get my dates right. The Kinsman School.
Right.
That was up where the dialysis unit is now. That was their big one. They helped build that one. And that's actually housed us until we moved to the Kin Center that we're in today, the Beaverbrook Kin Center.
Which is what a building I told you I love.
Oh, yeah, the old town hall. It is a beautiful
pool,
building.
how many has that served? I mean, that's just such a valuable asset to our community.
Absolutely.
Well, and like I said, it's one of those things that's like, they were the big projects.
Yeah.
A lot of what we do now, we focus usually on helping people that usually fall through the cracks in other spots. We have lots of other major other things that we do support, like our bigger projects would be, we have partnerships with CF, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
We've been partners with them since 1964 as an organization, as an association, not as a club here.
Yeah.
And then the Atlantic-wise, so of all the Atlantic provinces, we have a partnership with MS. So we donate lots of money to both and Multiple Sclerosis Canada, or Atlantic, and CF Atlantic.
Yeah, they're huge too. Huge to be helping contribute to those causes.
And when we go away to conventions, we get to hear about some of these people that have gone through and are either surviving or surviving through the disease, and with the help of some of the things that we've got to contribute to for the cures.
I'm so proud to be part of this.
It does. It makes you feel really good when you see all of the fun things that you get to help, right?
Yeah.
So, and with the other one that we kind of have locally is one of our members, he had lost his wife to ALS, so we have a partnership with ALS. I mean, and it's kind of not as big a group as it used to be at one time, but we used to do an ALS dance, a Halloween dance for ALS. And our first trivia night that we did was tied into donating the funds to ALS. Yeah.
And we all know people affected by either MS, ALS, or cystic fibrosis.
Well,
I personally do anyway, and they're very, very hard to, think of those people living in those circumstances. It could be any one of us any day, but when I see them struggling, it breaks my heart. So thank you for doing that for those people.
That's, like I said, that's the beauty of seeing some of these things. You don't realize just how much it affects people until you start doing a lot of these things. Like I didn't hear a whole lot about CF and MS and stuff until I joined the Kinsmen.
Right.
And then, so.
Yeah. How long have you been a kin?
Since 2014.
Okay. So 9 years now.
So 9 years, yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. Well, and like, I always, it's incredible the volunteer organizations in our city, in our region.
We're very lucky.
Like, it's incredible because there are so many volunteers who make so many different things happen, right? And who raise so many funds for different needs in the community. So I'm always fascinated, like the Lions and the the Rotary and
proud. You're proud.
It's incredible. It's astounding. And I don't know where we would be as a region without the volunteers that we have.
Well, we do, like I said, all of the service clubs out here do big stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So we're very lucky and very fortunate that way. So
it's amazing.
And the fundraising is a critical part of what you do.
Yes.
So talk to us a bit about some of the ways that you fundraise and how the community actually can help.
Okay, so I'll do a little history on those ones too, just to have a little bit of fun with it. So years past, they used to, when they were building for the pool and the jumpins now.
School?
The school, they fundraise by selling light bulbs. That's how
light bulbs?
Light bulbs, yeah. They used to do some little fundraiser
Really?
with
Well,
light
we all
bulbs.
need them, right?
There was something with it. It almost sounded like a Tupperware thing. I've only, like I said, only been with the club for 9 years, so I do know the history, but not all of the ins and outs of those things.
Yeah.
And then they progressed. The bigger ones, so in the 80s and 90s, they used to do a bed push for cystic fibrosis.
Oh, yeah.
So they used to push the bed, and they carried the bins, and people would drop money in until it became a huge liability. So
of course it did. Of course it did.
So now our bigger ones, like they used to do a big chicken barbecue as well. They used to do up the enclosure. They haven't done that. It doesn't catch on as much as it used to. We've kind of progressed into doing we have partnerships with like Tim Hortons and White Humphreys doing the Smile Cookies.
Yes.
So I got to do a plug at that. Don't let me forget the Smile Cookie plug.
Yeah.
That lets us do our toy drive and our National Day of Kindness initiatives that we have with the kids.
So I just have to touch on that one for a second. So the National Day of Kindness that you do with the students.
Yep.
So last year, one of the schools, I think it was Dr. Logie, but I'm not 100%. They brought us a little gift card at council to thank us for being
the children.
Yes,
the school students.
And I had a little note on my desk, and it was my favorite thing ever.
I remember you saying how much that meant to you.
It's still in my desk. Like not the gift card, I use that, but the little note that they made for us, and I was like, oh. Look at that.
Appreciation notes go a long way.
Yes.
It could be just a simple thank you for all you do, and that's it, but it shows gratitude. It shows that what you're doing is making a difference.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fun of those, that little particular initiative, the kind of the neatness behind it was we obviously can identify the community's greatest need partially. It's always up to everyone else that reaches out for assistance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and it kind of lined up with one of our members works at the school, and he said, what about getting the kids to help with it? And it's a great program that lines up. They do a lot of empathy and a lot of community involvement kind of courses or mindsets with the kids. And so it just lined up perfectly. And the directive was pick groups that maybe haven't been recognized as much during the pandemic.
Oh,
so they try to reach out to everyone that makes a difference and just to help. It is nice. It's like, this year I think they did Faro. Like they,
Oh my goodness, yes.
There's so many groups. I just did the post up for it too.
Oh
but yes,
my goodness.
It's kind of nice to get the kids the empathy and realize that a lot of the stuff bringing back to volunteering is if you want to make your community better, you got to help.
Yeah.
And you got to get them younger so they start out, so they realize just how important it is. Because obviously, when you get older, you can see the difference that it makes. But it's hard when you're younger.
I like the fact when you're talking that I know I do try to role model volunteerism, and you do, and you do. And if it's just one kid that says, I want to do what she's doing, or Michael's doing, or Veronique's doing, then that kid can catch on to a friend, and that's how we grow.
Well, we've actually hosted I want to say it was a fall leadership conference that we hosted here, and we had the national president from Kin Canada here. We had the executive director from Kin Canada, and we did sessions with the leadership kids at Miramichi Valley and James M. Hill.
Nice. Good. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know like the Rotary has a Rotary Interact Club with the schools, which is really good.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get them involved. Now, my two daughters. So when we first hosted that, my youngest one, Robin, or my oldest one, Robin, she's been attached to me anytime I do volunteering.
Nice.
So back into some of the other projects and fundraising. So beyond our the Smile Cookies spiel and the National Day of Kindness, we do our trivia night.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a fundraiser.
Patty and Darcy hosted.
Patty and Darcy hosted. Yeah, they always put on a good show. The first year we had to dial it up. You got to ham it up with some of these fans. They're going to enjoy it. The people that are here for a laugh, right?
I love that.
Well, and we kind of get a little. We had to gauge it a little bit because some of the questions maybe were too hard the first year, and not as hard. And then it's the fun of activities, right?
Yeah.
But that is they're all fundraisers. The other big one that we've also done like Santa photos to try to raise money, partnering with Downtown's Newcastle and Downtown's Miramichi at the time. Our big one is obviously our bingo.
Right, because you do radio bingo now, right?
It was in person, and then during COVID we had to shut down, and we retooled and came back as radio bingo.
Yeah.
That is that's our major fundraiser. That's what lets us do all of these lovely donations.
Quite a list of achievements and fundraising.
Well, we try.
You have a family, you have a job, and then this is really time consuming. I know we're all volunteers, but do you find, like, is there a big group that come together once a week to meet, or how often do you meet to, brainstorm these fundraisers as a group?
Well, a lot of our projects are kind of like annual ones at this point now.
Okay.
So there's kind of an easy kind of a, here's how we did it last year, who's going to run it this year.
Yeah.
And it is a dozen of us that get together every week to kind of plan these things out. And
no
we do
new ones. These are it, and you're bringing them
some
back.
of them, yeah. We've tried newer ones, like the trivia one was a newer one too, right?
Right.
I'm just trying to make sure, looking at my notes, make sure I don't forget anything else.
That's a nice
Like I said, a couple of them are very long, like the senior supper. That's our partnership with the Lions Club, which is another fun one to kind of bring in. Well, we kind of donate all of the food. We cover all the cost of the food. The Lions do all the cooking, and then we do all the serving.
Seniors night.
Well, senior supper at Christmas time.
At Christmas time, how lovely.
I know, isn't it? And that's perfect, right? Because there's not always an opportunity for seniors to get out for something like that.
And that's kind of the idea behind a lot of it, right? So that's where that came into.
That's amazing.
So, and like I said, when you're talking about being busy with family, that's why I include my daughters. They come help with all anything that we can do.
Absolutely.
They come down and you rope them in, and we get all the members to bring their kids out because that's part of what it's supposed to be. It's
perfect.
And then they know too what that feeling is like, right? Because that's what my parents did with me. Yeah. They took me to everything,
They help with
and
those
here I am.
things. That's right. That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's to bring that back into, what did I have on here and I've written down? So that's it. If you wanted to become a member, someone that is beyond roping in your own family members.
Yes.
We meet every Thursday at the Kin Center.
Okay.
Every second week we have a meal. Anyone's always welcome to come out. We're always taking on members. Always. New members anytime. Yeah. Anyone that wants to come and help with the project and do all those fun things.
What ages though? You're saying you have your own children.
They just lowered it down to 18.
Okay.
You have to be 18 to be a member.
To be a member.
So in our last, we have about a minute and a half left. Yep. So that's how fast that went.
Oh, it doesn't take long.
What do you want everyone? What's the one thing you want everyone to know about Kin?
Come out, volunteer. We always need help.
Yeah.
We always try to. We usually help people that fall between the cracks of everything else. Like I said, every group has their own niche that they kind of fall into.
Absolutely.
That's when we get a lot of requests are for people that are traveling for treatments,
Yeah.
and they make enough that they don't qualify for one program or another, and they just need help.
Yeah.
But they are working. They just can't make it.
Yeah.
They can't afford both, right? So.
Yeah.
And
that's the incredible thing, right? Is that there's so many organizations out there helping in some way or another, but it's to find the right one.
Yeah.
And like I said, follow us on social media because we do plug as much as we can on social media to see what we do, see if it interests people. Because again, we're volunteers, as you are well aware, are a dying breed. A lot of the clubs are getting older.
It's hard.
Yeah, and it's hard to
Congratulations on everything. I want to say that.
Oh, thank you.
It's wholeheartedly impressive and wonderful for our community and beyond.
Yeah.
Well, we try. That's all we just try to make a better place.
Yeah.
It's one of those things
you're doing it.
Yeah. And it's a lot of work, though. That's what a lot of people don't realize.
They don't
right?
want to work either.
Yeah, is that being a volunteer is actually a lot of work.
Well, like if I looked at last year, we donated, I want to say, about $100,000 in the community.
Yeah.
That's 2,000 to 2,500 volunteer hours, right? So
right,
you know,
exactly.
When you do your big projects, just how long it adds up. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it isn't always hard. It's just usually you need to give your time, right?
Exactly.
Time. Well, and that's the thing, people can volunteer for an hour or whatever fits into their schedule, right? But for those who have been with organizations a little bit longer, it tends to be longer. But anyway, listen, that was a phenomenal show. We want to thank Michael for joining us today and for Taylor for being here as well. So we hope you have a wonderful week. And you know what? If you have a few hours or an hour or 20 minutes, go volunteer somewhere.
Do it.
Help one of your neighbors out. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Call the Rogers TV Viewer Response Line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
I was born and raised in Musqueam First Nation territory by my mother, who spoke Hunkaminam to me. As a child, I ceased using my mother tongue, as to use any language other than English was considered not being Canadian, so I was told. The old people came to me in a dream and reminded me of who I am and where I come from. I have reawakened. My roots are strong, and I'm no longer a silent speaker. My language tells me where I'm from. It defines me and guides me to teach others to learn and understand our culture and traditions. A gift for those in the present and the unborn generations. What was lost is found. What was asleep has awakened. My blood is here, and I am complete. I have returned home.
Support your local charities and win great prizes by playing bingo on Rogers TV.
At St. John Ambulance, we're all about community. We teach life-saving skills and provide community support through our volunteer services. All St. John Ambulance product sales and training registrations support these important services. Volunteer, donate, or enroll in a program today so we can continue to have an impact on our community. Visit sja.ca to learn more.